Good
Good morning,
morning.
everyone. Welcome
How
to
are
the
you?
Coffee for Monday, April 29th. I am doing well, Sydney. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. It's early though this morning, even though the sun shines out.
Yeah,
It's a Monday morning, but I'm good. I'm
bright
good.
and early.
Whew,
I,
can't
I
figure out
got
my
up
volume. There we
more
go.
than, oh, sorry, am I loud?
Nope,
Probably
it's
not.
me.
I got up more than 2 minutes before the show today, which was nice. I had an
That's
hour of
nice.
prep. I'm on my third cup of coffee already, so
Yeah,
things are really moving.
I got a text from you at 7:20 my time, which is 6:20 show time. And I thought, wow, he's up early.
That's it.
10 minutes before the show, I thought, wow, he's on it
Yeah.
today.
I actually slept, which is I didn't do my usual, like, for some reason, I'm up between 2 and 4 AM thing. I didn't do that
Uh,
today. So,
oh, nice, nice.
so I feel bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, even though I don't look it, I guess.
Very cool, very cool. Well, we have a fun show for you guys today. So we've got a mystery guest, so we'll get to him shortly. But
Yes.
real quick, Tony, before we bring him on, what has been happening at PNS this week?
Man, well, it's been a lot. We've had trainings,
Mhm,
and we've got more
mhm.
back-to-back coming up soon.
Yes.
Um, Lots of good trainings that I did about it's been almost a month now. It was at the
Mhm,
beginning of April, and
mhm.
then, now we have I think I have 3 trips in the next week and a half
Oh
to
my
various
goodness.
trainings and other
Yeah,
various locales, which I'm sure we'll get to,
yeah,
and
yeah.
our background hints about today.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just been crazy. A
Mhm,
lot of crazy stuff happening. And then there was also, some of the PNS family was up in Detroit this week as well.
mhm,
Mr. Keith, if he makes it on, was up there with some
mhm.
other friends of ours. So lots
Yes.
going on.
Lots going on. Yeah, and here, yeah, just trying to keep track of everybody, keep track of everything. It's been absolutely crazy since TRC. I cannot believe that's been nearly a month, right?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so that is crazy. Just, all of the chatter and sharing about rehab, which we'll talk about rehab shortly. But it's been super exciting, super awesome. Um, and yeah, just getting ready for start the summer season. The bugs. Can we talk about the bugs? The bugs are back with us in full force.
Bugs
Good to
are
see those.
amazing.
Good to see those guys. They've been gone a while.
Yes.
They came back with a vengeance. Um, I actually
Yeah.
just got back from Salt Lake, so I ran Delaney. So some of you may or may not know, Delaney graduates in a couple weeks from high school. So I ran her up to Salt Lake. It was just kind of a girls, just the two of us trip that we've had planned for a while, just to kind of get out of our element and, you
That's
know,
fun.
yeah, it was fun. So we ran up there this weekend, and so just got back late last night, and so here I am starting the week
There
off
you
with
go.
weed maker and coffee. Thank goodness I have my coffee.
Well,
So,
and
so yeah.
and we know she was upset when it was an us girls trip to Salt Lake City the last time,
Yes,
our
yes,
last Bud
yes,
Code training.
yes. So the last Budco training, we went to Delaney's favorite shopping spot and we sent her a
Mhm.
selfie of Tony and I, and she was not happy about that. And so when we got there this weekend, it was so funny because she was like, "We need to send the same selfie." So we took the same selfie, and I sent it back to Tony and said, "Tag
Yeah.
back. Now you're left out."
Yep.
So yeah, it was pretty funny. But you know what? So we did go eat at Johnny Rockets and we forgot to take a picture. And I was
Ah,
super bummed, but we did go eat there. It was so good. I love that place. So fun.
it's a fun little diner place,
Yeah, yeah. So
entertaining
we
type style.
yeah. So we did that again, but we did so I'm a very big creature of habit. Like if I do something one time, I like to do the exact same thing every time. And so Tony knows because he travels with me. And so when we go back to Salt Lake the second time, it's like, okay, we got to go do this. We got to go to this coffee shop. We got to go here for dinner. We got to, try to
Yep.
cut the line at Texas Roadhouse. Like we got to, there's a whole process. The cat's here today. Um,
There she is.
and so I told Delaney, we have to go to Johnny Rockets for lunch, then we have to do this, then we have to do that, and then we have to go to Texas Roadhouse for dinner, and then we have to go to this ice cream place. Well, I had like a moment of blondness, I don't know, and I accidentally made our reservations at the Outback.
Oh,
And it
was
was
it
in a
good?
total. No, it was terrible, but
Oh
it was
no.
in a totally different part of town, and so I was all messed up, like, all messed up. But the good part was we ended up at a different cookie place instead of the ice cream place, and the cookies were amazing. So it ended up okay, but
Oh,
our dinner was terrible.
those are the cookies you sent us pictures of,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
group.
yeah, the cookies, yeah. So those were good, but the dinner was terrible. I highly don't recommend the Outback in Salt Lake.
Okay. Go
Go to Texas Roadhouse.
the next over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a
That's
good
training
weekend,
is.
so yep.
Yeah.
Good
Very
weekend.
cool.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's here. I'm happy. I'm waiting to see. So, for those of you that don't know, we had like Restream had a major update. We've had to reconnect everything. It's actually a miracle we're here this morning, to be honest.
Right,
So
with
what?
our tradition of technical difficulties. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
So
guess
what?
Facebook totally took away the API that they used for groups in third-party
Yeah.
software. So
Yeah.
if you're watching on the Facebook Beadmaker Lounge, I'm glad because that means it's working
Yes.
because we had to redo everything.
The only thing that I'm seeing, Tony, that I think is wrong or a bummer is that the group, the
Comments.
are not coming up.
Yep,
So we're
I'm
just
looking
gonna
like
have yeah, so we're just gonna have to call those out. So,
yeah.
that's a bummer. So for those of you that are watching in Beadmaker Lounge, you might wanna jump over to PNS Detail Products, on that live feed because we can't pull up your comment. So if you're just saying good morning and stuff, great, but if you actually have a question that you want us to pull up on the screen, jump out of Beadmaker Lounge and jump over to PNS Detail Products. We're gonna have to figure that out. So it is live in the lounge, but the,
Yep,
the the comments, we can't grab them. So
they're not in
anyway,
the feed,
yeah.
for some
So
reason because I
of
see
course we
Chris
had
in
to have
there,
it.
I see Jeff, Blaine, and
Yep.
John, but
Yeah.
nobody in our feed here, unfortunately.
Yes. Yes.
We're also live on
So
YouTube as an option.
yep. So if you want to ask a question, jump over there. If you want to just stay and hang out and chat, feel free to stay in the lounge. But thank you. Lots of good mornings in there, and that's great. So it wouldn't be Beadmaker and Coffee if we didn't have some sort of technical issue. So
At
we
least
got
it's
it
not on
figured
our end
out.
this time,
Yes. Now we can move forward.
arguably.
So
Yeah,
funny.
we're
So
here.
great. Yep. So funny. Oh
Two
gosh.
cameras, two microphones are working. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so let's get started. Let's bring in our guest and then we'll go
Okay.
over what our favorite product last week and stuff was. So
Yeah. I'm just
um
gonna get out of the way
okay, perfect.
just
Let's
to
let's
make it
bring them
extra
in.
special for you guys. All right.
It's one of my favorites, so let's bring them in. Oh, and I forgot it was gonna make me big. Where's the cat when you need her to help distract, right? All right, who do we have here this morning? Anybody?
Surprise!
Ah, it's Tony.
It's
It's
me,
Tony. Yeah, let's see. I was gonna go through all your names, but now it's
but I'm in
Tony.
Sydney's shop.
Virtually, right? Look at that. Look at that. All right. So I wanted to bring Tony back on as my co-host just because so great, right? You're the director of training and you kill it.
Oh, thank you.
And I just wanted to hang out with you for the whole show. So um
And it was
But
easy.
yes, well, it was easy, but no, I really did want to hang out with you for the whole show. That was totally planned. But because of what has been taking place the last couple of weeks, right? So
Yeah,
you were actually in Boise.
I
What was that?
was
A week ago? Yeah, just a week ago.
a week ago. Yeah.
And yeah, and we had a great time. And how come you were? Well, you were in my shop when this picture was taken. You're not
I took
actually
this
now,
picture in your
but
shop. Yes.
you took the picture. So
Yeah.
how come it's Tony time? How come you were in Boise? Tell everybody.
Well, so my wife Bonnie and I have been on a
Mhm.
new vehicle hunt for quite a while now, and
Mhm.
she has wanted a Jeep Gladiator. Spoiler alert.
Mhm.
And
Spoiler
so
alert.
um, we've looked all over California. We wanted a pretty specific trim, and
Mhm.
Bonnie's big thing was she wanted to be some color, an interesting
Mhm.
color, a bright blue. We
Yeah,
have an orange that's cool,
I'm gonna
this
clean my
yellow,
camera. Mhm.
and all of the ones in California that are, still the old 2023s, so they're
Mhm.
super discounted, are either
Yeah,
black or white.
yeah.
And then when we inquire about them, typical California dealership stuff,
Mhm.
they want to add $4,000 in
Mhm.
nitrogen-filled tires and a ceramic coating that we all know
Mhm.
is not going to be anything.
Yep.
And extra low jack,
Mhm.
security stuff, anti-theft. So, and it's all non-negotiable, right? They're just
Mhm.
huge jerks about it.
Mhm.
So I was getting frustrated and was blowing up my search
Mhm.
radius for the vehicle that we wanted, and one popped up in Boise. So I
Mhm.
sent you a message and I said, "Where do you guys buy all of your Jeeps and Dodges and things that
And
you
I
have?"
freaked out, right?
Yep, and it happened to be at your dealership with
Yeah,
your
that's
guy.
so crazy.
So, I first brought the idea of this to Bonnie,
Mhm.
basically like, "Hey, I found one that checks all of our boxes. Here it is. It's this bright yellow color,
Mhm.
but it's in Boise. So, like, I could fly out there and drive it home for you or something." And
Mhm.
she's like, "I don't know. Like, let me think about it." And I'm like, "Great. We're never going to find this car."
Mhm.
And but then, I think the next morning or maybe 2 days later, she comes to me with a note in her phone that's
Mhm.
outlining an entire road trip for the whole family and every stop and
Uh-huh.
everything we're going to do. And I'm like, I guess this means you're interested. You want to actually do this. And so, yeah, we worked out the details with the dealership, which was super easy because it was your people.
Uh-huh.
And we flew up there, picked up the vehicle,
Mhm.
one-way
Mhm.
tickets for the whole family, picked
Mhm.
up the vehicle and immediately drove it to your house
Mhm.
and
Yep.
cleaned it. I mean, that
Yep.
was the next day, but yeah.
Yeah.
And I told the dealership not to touch it, which they
Yeah.
understood,
Yep.
being
They
where
know
we
the
came
drill.
from.
Yep. They know the drill.
And yeah, and it was just super. So we ended up embarking on a crazy road trip.
Yeah.
We, started obviously in Boise,
Mhm.
and then went through what guess is called the scenic byway up north.
Mhm.
So even though we lived south, we drove north first,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
was the
Mhm.
wrong direction.
Yep.
But it was a beautiful trip through the mountains. We ended up
Mhm.
at the top of these mountains, and at the base of, I guess, the
Mhm.
Sawtooth mountain range.
Mhm.
Thick snow everywhere, 3-4 feet of snow piled up on top of these mountains. We went through Stanley, Idaho.
Mhm.
From there, we went down to Ketchum, Sun Valley. We went down
Mhm.
through there. We stayed there a night. Salt Lake City. Ultimately, we got to Vegas, spent a couple nights there, and then we went home.
So fun.
And so it was a huge trip, and it was a
Aw.
lot of fun. And the kids we got really well acclimated. We lived in that
Uh-huh.
truck for,
Yeah.
20 plus hours of driving.
Yep. Learned all the
Um,
things about it.
yeah, but it's great. Bonnie's super happy with it, and I'm just happy that the entire journey of finding the vehicle and everything is done. She has her own
Uh-huh.
vehicle again. Because prior to this, we went from 5 vehicles down to 2 in a
Mhm.
very short amount of time. And one of those is my '98 Dodge Ram that
Mhm.
runs and drives, but it's a '98 Ram with like a huge lift kit on it and
Mhm.
35-inch tires. So like just getting in and out is a challenge, especially for me.
Mhm.
Like I get out and I just fall for a while
Mhm.
and then I hit the ground. Um,
Mhm.
and
So
so
funny.
having that as a daily driver is just like not ideal.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we needed something else
So
and now we have
fun.
it. Yeah.
So fun. So fun. And it's very you. It's very you and Bonnie. Like, it's very you. Loved it.
Yeah,
It was so fun.
she loves it, and all of her
Yep.
friends are like, "Oh, it looks like a yellow highlighter that someone put over a green highlighter." And she's like,
Oh,
"Whatever, I like it."
yep. Yep. Totally. Totally. Gotta own it. That's so great. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
So, well, congrats on the new car. And of course, we were always happy to see you. So that was fun.
yeah,
Um, we get to see you a lot more. We'll talk about that later. So that is awesome. Let's see what else. So, should we jump into what is our favorite product that we use?
sure.
Now, I'm sticking with my same product, and I'm going to
Uh-oh,
go first so that you can't take mine.
go ahead.
Frank, thank you. Used
There
rehab
you
this
go.
weekend. So I'm sticking with rehab. I know that was mine last week too, but I don't care. I'm sticking with rehab.
Good stuff.
You guys, and I'm sure, I mean, there's all sorts, like if the Bead Maker Lounge, it's pretty much every other post. Good morning, Jamie. I'm sticking with it though, because it's funny how, and Tony, because we got to use it for a significant amount of time before it was actually released, right? But
Mhm.
we knew that we loved it then, but now that it's out, it even hits different. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep,
It's like you're using it behind the scenes as, testing or whatnot, and you're like, this is so good, this is so good. But when you have the whole rest of the world going, like, this changes my business. Like, these are the comments I'm getting is like, this has changed my business. This is, like people just freak out and they say the most incredible things. Um, this is it. Like that was the one I read was like, this is it. Like this is the one. This is what the industry needed. Like it is,
Yep.
crazy. And so it just like reinforces how much I loved it already. But now that it's out and we have it in the bottle and it's labeled and all of that,
And we can
it
talk about
just
it.
and
Like
we can
it's so
talk about it.
much
Yes.
instead of just
Yes.
in our own group chat, which just becomes an echo
Yeah.
chamber of like
Yeah.
rehab's great. Like, yeah, we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. Like,
Right. Yeah. We're working on it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I just love it even more, which I wasn't sure was possible. Um, it's just so great. And so it makes my life so much easier. So I'll give you an example of why it's my favorite this week is I had two details. I think one you were here. I had a black Chevy Colorado and a black Audi RS.
Hmm.
And they were both here for regular details. They were both absolutely hammered, but like the coolest cars, right? The coolest.
Yep.
And they were absolutely hammered. So I did the detail, I did the wash clay seal, all the stuff, and they looked amazing. And then the customer comes to pick it up, and then we start talking about the scratches and the damage and how to preserve them and all that good stuff,
And
right?
that Audi had those water spots even.
Yeah, yeah. And so of course the customers were like, let's do whatever you want. I want my car protected, I want it to look good, all that. So it was a pretty easy to inform them about coatings, and they were like, yeah, all in right away. But for me as the detailer, in the back of my mind, I remember for so many years, probably like 10 years, when there was a black vehicle like that to fix, I was like, oh, where you
Yep.
just wanted
I'm
to
gonna
like,
book extra
you,
time, charge
yeah,
extra money.
you just wanted to cry, literally. Like, for instance, this Colorado, 4 years ago, I would have looked at that and went, I don't think I can do it. Like, I would be
Yep.
worried about the results I would deliver. I would know that I'd have to work harder, all of this stuff. And it was so great to be able to, with 100% confidence, just go, no problem. You're going to love it. It was almost like I was so confident in the correction portion that it made the coding easier to sell.
Hmm.
So I just noticed that my confidence in the way that I presented it to the customer, as far as what the expectations of the correction would be, was completely different. And so that was what I noticed different this time, was just
Yep.
my confidence in the correction. And they were both black, they were both hammered, and I was like, I don't care, let's do this. Which
Yeah.
is so cool, so
Well,
cool.
and it was so, I mean, I came in after you actually did the test spot, but
Mhm.
your test spot on the Audi
Right.
was like a night and day difference.
Yeah. In
And
two
I mean,
seconds,
I'm
right?
sure it
Yeah.
took you 2 seconds. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, it used to be, and in my class even, it used to
Yeah.
be, you're gonna have trouble one stepping a black car. You just will.
Right.
Like
Oh
with
yeah.
getting any sort of
Right.
measurable results, like actual
Right.
defect removal
Right.
without a haze.
Yeah.
You're gonna get lucky. But
Yeah.
now it feels like that's not necessarily the lucky,
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the more common situation. I'm sure there's still
Right.
gonna be the cars like your black
Yeah.
Chevy, GM stuff might be tougher unless you're
Right.
using super
Hmm.
soft pads. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's still it's making it more common for you to be able to get good results, which is really nice. And that's kind of the bulk of the comments we see, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
people are saying, "Oh man, this is just as good as XYZ
Yeah.
product,
Hmm.
but it's faster, or it wipes off
Yeah.
better, or it
Right.
saves me time," which is,
Yeah.
time is
Yep.
everything. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So it's so great. So I had to
yep.
pick that again because I just can't not. I love it so much.
Yep. No, it's great stuff. I'd be remiss if I didn't try and also use it as mine, but I'll come up with something else.
Okay.
I'm trying to even think of what the details I had. Well, I had two coatings back to back when I
Yeah.
got home,
Right.
um, this last time, but so that was an adventure, and those were all rehab, obviously.
Hmm.
All right, so you know what I'm going to go with then? I'm going to go with the 3-part carpet system. So not
Okay.
one product, but the
Hmm.
3-part
Yeah.
carpet system.
Yeah. They all go together.
Um,
That's fair.
yeah.
Hmm.
So I had a interior that I did this last week that
Hmm.
was pretty rough. Usually it's a good sign when the customer calls me and says, "Hey, my car's pretty dirty," because
Hmm.
that means that they care.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And usually those cars are actually pretty clean, right?
Yeah. Great.
This time she was right. It was pretty dirty. It was a
Hmm.
6 or a 7 out of 10, let's say.
Oh no. Hmm.
But it did clean up nicely, and she was right, and she's like, "It's mostly like surface level stuff, so there wasn't a lot of
Hmm.
stains and things on the seats, things like that."
Hmm.
Obviously, I got through the initial layer of crust, we'll call
Hmm.
it maybe, in the vehicle and got down to the floors and the carpets and the fabric seats. And, this
Mhm.
car had 100,000 miles on it. It was probably a 5-year-old Chevy. I think it was an Equinox.
Oh,
So they've
okay.
obviously put a
Mhm.
ton of miles on it. She
Mhm.
has kids.
Mhm.
And it had some stains in the seats. You could see where there was car seats and then stains on the outside of
Mhm.
them. So,
Okay.
you
Oh,
know,
nice.
the
Oh,
food and the
yeah,
things,
yeah.
but the seat was clean in the middle.
Oh gosh.
But that 3-part carpet system, man, and like they weren't bad enough to worry about hyper focusing on each of the 3 steps.
Uh-huh.
So I just went and terminated the
Mhm.
area, couple
Mhm.
of light carpet bombers stacked right on top, and
Mhm.
essentially walked away. And in fact, I think
Mhm.
I got distracted and did something else for a while,
Mhm.
and just the soaps were just there,
Mhm.
and arguably even probably dried in the
Uh-huh.
seats in
Mhm.
certain areas. But I came back and kind of rehydrated them a little bit with a tiny bit more Terminator, scrubbed,
Mhm.
and then steam mopped them out, and everything looks brand new.
Oh,
And
wow,
it
nice.
just was so simple.
Yeah.
And, she
Yeah.
was so impressed with the car.
Mhm.
And what she didn't even really determine was a stain was, at least the
Mhm.
driver's seat especially kind of had a real
Mhm.
consistent faded look to it just from
Yeah.
being dirty.
Yeah.
And the 2 cleaners plus the finisher on
Mhm.
top brightened it all up and made it look so much
Yeah.
better that she was like, "Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, was my entire seat stained?" And I'm like, who knows
Mhm.
what it was, but
Yeah.
look at it now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Such an easy system,
Yeah.
and I'm always preaching to use all 3 parts, especially
Oh,
in the
yeah.
training class.
Yeah.
And inevitably there's always someone who
Mhm.
comes in and says, "Oh, I've only ever used carpet bomber,"
Mhm.
which makes sense, right? Because we sell like 4 times as much carpet bomber as we do the
Right.
other 2,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
should be the inverse if you guys are doing it
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
talking to you, chat, internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so I preach that using the 3 parts, they really do
Mhm.
work well together. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
a scam to sell you more
No.
water in a bottle.
No. No, the Terminator definitely, oh, man.
Yeah.
That one is
Um,
so good. It does so much of the work.
and then we've had it come up a few times recently. People are saying like, "Oh, the carpet cleaners I'm using or even carpet bomber can cause this, but, my carpets are crunchy. My mats are
Mm.
crunchy after."
Mhm.
And that's the using too much carpet bomber or just
Yep.
whatever other cleaner you're using.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when instead you probably need a Terminator to get those
Yeah.
stains out
Yeah.
easier. That's not
Yep.
going to cause that crunchiness. So,
Right. Yes, that's such a good point that the Terminator starts the stain breakdown and then you don't need as much of the surfactant,
yep,
carpet bomber if
yep,
you start that stain breakdown ahead of time. And then obviously the finisher
yep.
deactivates all the surfactant. So yeah, they all go
Well said.
together and and I think you guys know that, that's our big thing. It's like efficiency, like products that work, but also have processes that are so efficient that, they essentially save you money because you are um, working smarter, right? Not harder. It's
Mhm.
you're getting done. It's all about like where we want to set what we earn per hour, right? Like that's always what I'm
Yep.
thinking about. I want to get done. I want to have the best results, but I want to get done like quick, right? I don't want to
Right.
spend all day there. So definitely, products like that with the 3-step system too. I mean, I can't imagine using anything else like that. It's a really good system. Really, really good.
Yep.
So good. I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, well, awesome. Very good. So we get into some comments and questions. Yes,
Yeah,
my
we've got
guy
a few.
Kirby. Yeah, it's nice to find a car dealer that is customer oriented. So shout out to Larry Miller, Jeep Dodge in Boise, right?
Yes.
I've got
Free
these
free plug.
amazing, yep, I've got these amazing guys, but they are amazing. I've probably bought 7 cars at Larry Miller, and my parents bought 4 back in the 80s at the same, it was called Sundance Dodge back then, but it's same dealership. So lots of cars in my life from this place. But I've got this amazing sales manager, Brad, who literally could not make it any easier. I text
Yep.
him and I say, Brad, I want this Jeep. And he goes, the deal is done. When do you want to pick it up? Like it's literally that easy. Like it's so great. And so I had
Yep.
texted him and said, my very good friend Tony's coming to town. Give him the Sydney hookup.
And they
And
did. They were just like,
yeah,
"Here's the bottom line price. There's
yeah,
no haggling." Like, it
yeah,
was obviously a great discount.
yeah.
They're extra discounted from Chrysler directly too, because
Hmm.
they're last
Hmm.
year's stock.
Yeah. Hmm.
And, all this kind of stuff. Like, it was
Hmm.
just a very easy price. It was easily the easiest car buying process I've
Yep.
ever had. And I
Yep.
usually go through like a lease broker and stuff, and I thought
Hmm.
that was easy.
Hmm.
But this is just like, yeah, they answered
Yeah,
all my
they're so
questions. They
great.
worked with me
Yeah.
remotely
Mhm.
buying a car from out of state,
Mhm.
XYZ. There was 100 different things that could have gone
Yeah.
sideways with the deal,
Yep.
and it could have just been like,
Yeah.
we don't want to deal with you.
Yep.
But it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
so great. So good. Good. All right. The first two shall remain nameless. Good morning, all. This is my first Bead Maker and Coffee live. Tuning in while I get in a 6 mile walk. Well, wow, that's amazing.
There you
And
go. Are we going to
thanks
carry
for
over the tradition from the Rag Company podcasts with him? He or
What's
she,
that?
I guess. Oh, they call this person by a different name every time they comment. So they're like,
Oh,
Joseph
that's
says,
funny.
Greg
Oh,
says,
that's
yeah.
hilarious.
And the
That's
names are getting
hilarious.
more and more like
Uh-huh.
ancient history,
Oh my
biblical, like
gosh.
Isaiah
Benjamin.
and
That's
like,
so funny. Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
Zechariah,
Oh my goodness. That's so
Uh,
funny. Well, thanks for tuning in live. We're happy to have you here live.
yeah.
So fun. So fun. You get Tony. How are you doing like the moderator and the co-host situation? I don't think
I think I'm doing okay.
I think you're doing great. I don't know that I have the attention span to do that. So yes, you're doing a great job. All right. I love this question. So I definitely want to hear more about rehab. I've seen it compared to the last cut. Anyone have any input on that? Okay. First, I want to address this because this weekend I probably saw this 6 different places. YouTube, there was a lot of YouTube videos put out about rehab this weekend, which were very good, by the way.
Yep.
But
Go
lots
check
of
out
stuff in the comments. Yep.
Alex Dewar, Bucky BW, yeah,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
Jamie Cleaner
Yep.
especially.
And so, but lots of stuff in the comments, and you can tell that it's obviously people that aren't super connected to PNS, but there's so many comments that are like, this is just 3D1 rebottled. It is absolutely not. So I just want to address that real quick because it comes up a lot in the comments. So people asking,
Yeah.
because we are affiliated with 3D now. So just to remind everybody, there's ATG, which owns 3D. They now, own PNS, but they're still totally separate entities. So no, rehab is nothing from 3D.
Yep.
It's not 3D1. And if you're in the Bead Maker Lounge, there's been plenty of people say, no, it could not be more different. Like it's just different. And you can tell right when you use it. So first, let's say that from all the comments I saw this weekend, it is not 3D1 in a bottle. We
Yep.
literally watched Dave make it. We had him tweak it. Remember the story? Tony and I begged for bottles. We'd have to beg Dave to make small
Well,
batches.
and I
Send
think
to us.
like a key thing to think about is that you've been helping Dave, especially I've been part of it for say 6 months or something, but Dave and you have been formulating this well
Mhm.
over a year. So
Yeah,
well
yeah,
before the
yeah.
3 ATG acquisition situation
Yeah,
even
probably a year and
happened.
a half now. Yeah, it started at SEMA 22. So anyway, so no, it is totally a unique to PNS product. And then to hear more about it, it's amazing. Compared to the last cut. So here's how I'll compare it to the last cut. The last cut was something that I used a lot. You used it a lot, right?
Mhm.
It was kind of my go-to. It was good. It was good to great. There was a lot of things it didn't work on, but it was kind of that choice where most of the time it worked.
Yep.
You would still have to chase some hazing and thing like that, but it was my product that I would grab to do single step corrections.
Yep.
And I loved it for a lot of years, and it's still a great compound. All of that, like not saying anything bad about it, but rehab is so different from the last cut. In the way that it is super easy to work with, no dusting, crazy easy wipe off. The last cut does not have that great, smooth of a wipe off. And so no dusting, easy wipe off. It does so much cutting. It's unreal. But then it
Yep.
also like polishes itself out, which is nuts. And so really, if I'm saying like what is it directly compared to, I'm not really sure because it is so good that a lot of the other products on the market, which are all very good as well, there will be like one element that it's missing. Maybe the wipe off's not great, or maybe it dusts, or maybe it
Mhm.
leaves, some bluing, or maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, it finishes out great, but it's not that strong of a cut. This like has it all. So I'm not really sure what I would directly compare it to. I just,
It's
I just
really
think
hard
it's
because it's
amazing.
almost in
Yeah.
a category of its own. There hasn't been anything that I've
Right.
used.
Yeah.
There's a ton of brands I haven't used, so,
Yeah.
caveat, asterisk,
Yeah.
but, like,
Right.
of the products I have used and all the things we tried to test it against, there hasn't been
Mhm.
anything that covers as wide of a range that rehab does, right?
Right.
Like you
Right.
said,
Which
last
is,
cut is a good to great, and I totally
yeah.
agree with that, but I feel like
Mhm.
rehab takes it from great to amazing. It's like,
Hmm.
it's almost always great. 9 out of
Yeah.
10 times it's at
Yeah.
least great.
Yeah.
And 8 out of 10 times it's amazing.
It's
And
amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. That's
it's
such a good way to put it. Yeah. And so that's where the name came from, right? I mean, we obviously came up with rehab because it really does, it just rehabs the paint. Like, that was the best word for it. But that's where correction cream came from.
mm,
So because the last cut, and so not to pick on the last cut is a great compound, but it's a compound, which means it's not always going to finish out by itself, right? So you can't expect a product to do something that they don't claim to do. And the last cut has never claimed to be a perfect finish every time. So that's why it's a great compound. So this we struggled with because we didn't want to call it a polish. We didn't want to call it a compound, but it cuts like a compound, but it finishes like a polish. And so we were like,
mm,
well, we didn't want to pigeonhole it into a specific area. And so we called it correction cream because that's
yeah.
kind of, I mean, it's for correction, and so we kind of had to not really make up a word, but make a space for it.
It's a
Um,
shame that like all-in-one already has a definition,
yeah,
because it's
right,
really it is an all-in-one compound polish, obviously
right,
without
yeah,
protection and fillers,
right, yeah,
more than it is a compound or a polish,
right,
right? We need to
right,
come up with
yeah.
some new term. Yeah, correction
I
cream,
know.
is like,
I know. We
but
tried
yeah,
one step, but then yeah, people still think that one step means all in one. But yeah, it's so definitely the one who shall remain nameless. All I can say is get some. You're gonna love it. I have yet to meet a person. I did see one person on YouTube, which I'm like, you clearly weren't using rehab. They were like, oh, the dusting, I can't handle the dusting. I was like, there's no dust. If you have dust, your pads are dirty because it literally
yeah,
can't dust.
yeah. Did you grab an old pad from
Yeah.
3 details ago and throw it on there?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
because
that and
that'll
I was like,
dust.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, you're not used to rehab because it literally doesn't dust. But
Yeah.
so anyway, yeah, try it out. I mean, I could sit here and literally talk about how amazing it is for probably an hour straight
Yep.
without
And
taking a
if
breath.
you're wanting to wait until maybe it comes in a smaller size,
Hmm. Hmm. We're
then
working on that. Yeah.
just hang on, just hang in there.
Yep.
Soon,
Yep.
maybe,
Yep.
allegedly.
Absolutely. Alleged.
Don't want to get in trouble, police.
Spilling the beads over there, spilling the beads. You'll be like, I'm
Spill the
just a
beans.
co-host today. I'm just a co-host. I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah, I'm not a producer today.
That was the co-host of
Al,
you, not the producer.
yeah. Alan mentioned my road trip
Alan!
video. Yeah, I made a video of the road trip, a cheesy like clip video thing that for friends on Facebook you might be able to see.
Alan. I need
Um,
a countdown of when I get to see Alan again. He's like my favorite
and we need
person.
like a clock, just a ticker at
Yeah.
the top of the
Yeah.
window. That's like the
Oh
Alan
man.
countdown.
Yeah, right? Alan countdown. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Gabriel, in with are the pad washer labels ready? And where are the
And 32
32-ounce
ounce.
bottles for Triple S? So the pad washer labels, Bob has them made. I just don't know if they've been ordered, but I'm going to get him on that. And then the 32-ounce bottles of Triple S. I have not heard anything about Triple S coming in 32-ounce bottles. Not a bad idea, though. And we all know Bob loves to make 32-ounce bottle labels.
If we get a triple S 32 ounce before we get natural finish, I
Oh,
might riot.
okay.
I
Okay.
have a key to the building.
Fair enough.
I know where all the labels are. I'll hold all the labels hostage
Put lockdown
until
on
I
those.
get a
Yeah.
32 ounce
Oh my
natural.
gosh.
So that's going to be my big campaign for 2024. I'm deciding right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Okay. Fair
Natural
enough.
finish.
Fair enough.
Bob's on vacation right now. He's going to get it when he gets back. Yeah.
I actually agree. I'll stand with you on that. I'll stand with you on
Okay.
the natural
All right.
finish and we'll take Triple S
Natural
after that.
finish. Unite.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
100%. Mr. 441, I'm embarrassed to ask this, but who were the two PNS salespeople attending a shop open in Livonia, Michigan this weekend? Had a great time chatting with them, but I'm blanking on who it was. So I'm glad you brought this up. We were going to bring up all of the events in just a minute, but I'm glad you brought this up. So there was a 3D grand opening for the store in Livonia. And it's an amazing store. I've been to it. So great. The kid that runs it, Cam, is amazing. Super nice store. So had their grand opening this weekend. It was 3 days long. That was Mr. Keith Duplessis that was
Yep.
there, as well as our very good friend Jamie Buchanan from Dirty Old Cars. So Jamie is a longtime user and friend of PNS. I mean, like long time,
Yeah.
long time, many many years. And so Jamie's just a great friend. I believe Keith was calling him his athlete of the week with him or something. So Jamie was there representing. We have all been spread out like crazy, which we'll talk about Rennie's event right after this. And so we've all been just spread out crazy.
Yeah.
So our resources are thin. And so you will start seeing our athletes showing up at some of these events to help represent PNS. And so Jamie Buchanan got to go to that, which is so fun. If you got to meet him, he is so amazing.
Jamie's
So,
the best.
oh,
He's so
yeah.
funny.
Oh, yeah. Like, so great.
And even though
So,
he's like a big Hollywood TV star, he talks to you like you're cooler than
yep.
he is, which is
Yeah.
obviously not correct, but it's just,
Yep.
he's just so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So
awesome.
we'll wait to talk about Rennie's event till we get to Romero's comment, but
Yes.
we will talk about that. So I'm glad you brought this up. For anybody that was there, I've seen a couple other comments online of folks that got to go see, and now the PNS stuff is in that store. So great. I know Keith had a great time, and I got some pictures from it, and yeah, really good. So very cool.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning
Ramirez
in
is
too.
pretty much the next one because there's just a lot of first from Puerto Rico. Good morning, Umberto's.
Perfect.
But yeah.
All right. Well, so Ramiro is in the house this morning. That's so amazing. So Rehab did amazing work at the War Eagle Museum for the Warbird Revival project this weekend. The correction gloss and easy wipe off made it so easy to create amazing results. That is awesome. And yes, saw lots of video of all the guys using it on the planes, which is so cool. So Rennie and his team were doing the Warbird Revival event this weekend at the War Eagle Museum in, I believe it was in New Mexico.
Yep.
And so they had a crew, it looked like maybe about 20 people, and really great. You know, if you didn't see, go check that hashtag, really great images and work. It looked like an amazing project. So, you know, good job, guys. It looked so great. Loved all the story shares and everything. I bet that was just amazing to work on those planes and stuff. I always love old planes. So I'm glad that Rehab got to be used. I saw lots of pictures of it. So very, very cool. So thank you, Romero. And we get to see you this week, Romero. We're going to talk about that later as well. But very cool.
Gosh,
so,
is that already this week? Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's like in 4 days. So congrats to the entire team that did the Warbird Revival. That's very awesome. And then real quick, I want to mention another, because we've been talking about the team, is there was another event this weekend also, which, and I'm going to mess this up, but I think it was called the Land and Sea project. It was in Southern California, and there was 4 folks there, and I'm totally gonna blank on who was all there, but there was 4 people representing PNS at that, doing that project. I know it was Chris Woolman, Scotty Wong. I'm gonna totally forget who the other 2 are. I apologize. I should have had that ready, but good job. That was awesome. The pictures coming out of there too. So what that was is, I think they were working on some planes, and then also they were working on all the Porsches. So it was all Porsches.
Oh, that's right. I did.
So super cool.
I've been like so confused about which one you've been talking about, but the Porsche pictures. Yeah.
I know. It was all over this weekend. It was crazy. So,
yeah,
very,
a lot of
very
stuff
cool.
going on.
Yeah, very cool. So good job on that as well. So fun to see.
Yeah.
So fun to see. All right. Claus says, which interior fragrance do you guys prefer, and what is your sweet spot in terms of dilution? So on the interior fragrances, I like them to be a little bit heavy. So I actually do 1 whole bottle to a half a gallon of water.
Bottle plus half a gallon of water. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And then certain ones you can dilute even more, but I start at a half a gallon, and then I see how I like it. So for instance, like the strawberry lemonade, I think I ended up at like 3/4 of a gallon, but I always start at a half because you can't take it back, right?
Can't take water out, right?
Yeah. So I start really strong, and then I see how I feel. Like the leather, I like at a half gallon. The coconut, absolute, I'm probably about 3/4 of a gallon of water to 1 bottle. So start heavy, see how you like it. But I noticed that if you do it a little bit heavier, it lasts a little bit longer.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so I start pretty heavy and dial it back if needed.
Yeah.
And by dial it back, I mean add more water.
Yeah. I think the strawberry lemonade, right? I think that's just my absolute go-to dilution or scent now and everything. Mm-hmm. If everything could be strawberry lemonade scented, I think I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so what do we have next up here?
We've got this guy.
Oh, maybe let's say what our favorite interior scent is, though. I think mine is probably the coconut lime.
Oh, well, totally. I'm still sticking with strawberry. Still sticking with the strawberry.
Nice. Nice.
As fun as mango is, bead maker.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So
I always do love that one, but I just really love the smell of Absolute. I really do.
yeah,
The essence of Absolute. All right. So David says, "Hi, Tony and Sydney. Please bestow upon me how to attack white transfer paint on a 2019 Toyota RAV4. It's on the roof on the edge, 12-inch linear scuffing."
easy.
Um, yeah, I always start with paint transfer. I always start with a paint remover. So something like Goof Off, or I use Kosh.
Acetone.
Yeah, or I use Kosh Kami, which I know this is a PNS show, but that's what I use. I use Kosh Kami Ulex.
Ulex. Yep.
That's a good paint transfer remover. I use that one a lot. But I also use Goof Off a lot too. But PNS has Remove All, and I know that there's other PNS products that'll take it off. It's just sometimes they're hard because they're ones that like can't be shipped and stuff.
Right.
So
So Remove All
um,
and Solvent X, probably either of those, given the
yeah,
situation, would also just
right,
take off the transfer. But those
yeah,
you have to go buy from a physical distributor that's
yeah,
ordered them, and it's a
yeah.
separate thing.
Yeah, I will say, and I'm not sure the science behind this, but I do like an aerosol for this type of issue.
Sure.
So I do end up using the Goof Off, the professional strength one works very good for paint transfer.
Yeah.
And so I start with that and then I do the correction. I do not try to use a compound to get it off, and here's why. Because you are using that compound to pull that paint off layer by layer, and that also means you're pulling off the clear coat around the paint transfer. So
Hmm.
don't do that. Try to get the
You're
paint off
polishing
and
the paint off,
yeah,
but then
yeah,
also the good healthy car paint
yeah,
that you want to bring back. You're hitting
yeah.
all of that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So try to get the paint off first and then fix it if you can. I had one the other day that I had to pull a bunch of white paint off from garage door transfer, but then and because sometimes the actual paint's missing underneath, like
Oh
the
yeah,
car
sure.
paint.
Oh
So,
yeah.
see what you're dealing with before you go polishing, because that's the other thing. If some of the paint got pulled off and you're, pressing too hard, working on it too hard, you're going to end up
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll
with
notice
paint
it.
burns. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just use a
Yeah,
paint
I always
remover for
attack it with some sort of solvent, and then especially if you get good results and it pulls off all the paint, and you maybe want to clean it up after, just
sure.
wait a little bit for that solvent to evaporate out. Wait for the clear to calm down. Some of them can kind of soften the clear coat,
Yeah, yeah.
so give it a little bit, and then come back
Yep.
and do a light polish, and usually you're good.
Hmm.
So
Yep. Yep. Very good. Awesome. PNS East Bay. Good morning. So
good
now, do you
morning.
want to talk about PNS
It's a
East Bay
good
right now?
segue. Yeah,
I love these comments coming in because then we can talk about the event. So
yeah,
PNS East Bay. So this Friday,
yep.
a couple
5
people from
p.m.
couple people from Team PNS will be at PNS East Bay for an open house, meet and greet. So for those that don't know, PNS East Bay is connected to PNS HQ. So they are our store located right there. Stephen and his crew, Romero, amazing. Probably my favorite store. So we are going to be there. So it'll be myself, Tony, Keith, and Dave. And then
Yep.
I'm not sure if Ian's staying, but so the four of us will be there doing a meet and greet. We are on our way to, which is what our background is for. We are heading to the Monterey Motorcycle Show at the Quail that Saturday. So we are making a stop at PNS HQ and doing a meet and greet at PNS East Bay. So if you are in the Bay Area, we will all be there Friday 5 to 7,
Yep.
and this will be the first time that our spouses will be with us, which
Yes,
is
as
so
extra
fun.
extra special
Yes,
guests.
so fun. So if you guys want to hear these people we talk about, they're absolutely amazing. So the four of us will be there. We are super excited about it. I cannot wait. So please come down and see us if you're in the area. Yeah, I love doing all the events at Stevens. You've gotten to do
Yep.
some of the car shows, which is so great. You get to see it all
Yep.
the time because of
I
training.
did see one car show.
Yeah,
I wasn't there for
yeah.
their last one. That was
Last one, yeah.
twice the size. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
insane. But the one prior to that, I was there, and that was a lot of fun.
So cool. So cool. So
Yeah.
we'll see you Friday, Stephen. We're so excited. Josh Pierce, rehab is so different than anything else on the market. The cut, finish, gloss, and wipe off makes it stand tall above all others. Perfect.
Josh's words, not
Perfect.
ours,
Yes.
but I
Yes.
don't really disagree.
Yep. Perfect. I love it.
Yep.
Love it. It's a little more descriptive than it's just amazing, because that's all I can
Yes.
say. It's just absolutely amazing. All right. Briley says, while you're at it, can you get us Envy in a smaller size too? Really? Envy comes in a 16 ounce.
That would be tough, I think. I mean, well, I
That would
guess
be
maybe an
tough.
8
Yeah.
ounce,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, so we've never had 8-ounce bottles before of compounds and polishes. So we are working on getting a rehab in an 8-ounce. We'll see how it goes.
I was just going to
I
ask what size the baby rehab was going to be.
I think
Is
it's
it
going to
8?
be an 8. I think it's going to
Okay.
be an 8. That's what everyone's been asking for. So I think we're going to do an 8. So
Okay.
um, the deal, Briley, we're going to have to see is how the 8-ounce goes over. But then I'm not sure on the envy. We'll have to see. But I don't
So
disagree with you because a bottle of envy lasts me like 5 years. So I
it
don't
does.
disagree with you there. But we'll just have to see. It all comes down to honestly bottle resources, which another good segue into bottle resources, right? Um, After
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
COVID thing, we thought bottles were all fixed and it's not. So some of you guys may be seeing lots of different products in white gallons, black gallons. So the supplier with our clear gallons, I'm not sure the whole story, but that we are not getting them
Something's
anymore.
weird.
So
Yeah.
yeah, something I'm not sure if they quit making them or I don't know. Something happened, and so we don't have any clear gallons. I think we may now, but there was a couple weeks where the only way we could run product was to put them in black and white gallons. So
Hmm.
if you get a gallon of Breakbuster that's white, it is really Breakbuster.
Don't freak out.
Yeah, don't freak out. I can
I
see that if
saw
people,
Terminator in black bottles, like
yes,
Finisher usually comes in.
which would be scary, right? Like those
Right.
don't
You're
are
like,
the
is
ones
this
who'd be
Finisher or is
scary.
this Terminator?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be scary. So that did happen. That was real. So um, this is where I could see that possibly, like if rehab is just crazy in that 8-ounce bottle, sometimes we get a little bit nervous, like with the rags to riches bottle. Everyone's like, why don't you put other stuff in the rags to riches bottle? And it's because then you're splitting your resources.
Right.
So, rags to riches is something that we sell so much of that. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
But
yeah. So assuming we can keep the bottles,
yeah.
in stock, then I would
Hmm.
say just, be Riley,
Yeah.
go, you and all your friends go out and buy a bunch of 8-ounce bottles of rehab and show how
Yeah.
popular 8-ounce bottles can be.
Right. Yeah. There
And
you go.
then we can maybe convince Envy and maybe a
Yep.
few other products to sneak into those bottles too. We'll
Yep.
see.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. This I think is an interesting one. So Super Auto asks if rehab is thin enough to spray.
I'm gonna say no.
I would bet it maybe is thin enough though. I mean, I haven't tried it, and I probably I don't feel like it's necessary.
Yeah, I would say no. It does pour out nicely, but I'm gonna say no because I think by the time it got into the tube and sat there, I think it's gonna harden a little bit.
Oh, that's probably
Um,
true.
like if you think about Clarity Cream, it's
Yep.
very thin, but the
Yeah.
minute it gets on anything, it kind of dries up. So
The cap
I
always
would,
clogs up if you don't use it for a
yeah,
month or something. Yeah.
yeah, I could see where you would have to have something with a massive, like, have you guys ever been to the ice cream places where you get the shake and they have to give you the straw that's like this?
The
It would
big
be
straw.
this,
Yeah.
it would be the same thing with rehab. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it could be sprayed.
If you were like high production, super high production, if it was Josh, we
Mhm.
should ask Josh. Josh, can you test this? Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's Josh Pierce's shop where you're doing 10 cars a day and there's no
yeah,
slowdown,
yeah,
I would say like maybe it could work
yeah.
and maybe it would be a
You'd
nice
have
way
to
to
have
use it.
yeah, you'd have to have a sprayer with a pretty heavy pickup.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's if you haven't used it, Super Auto, it's honestly just such a forgiving product to
yeah,
use that
yeah,
yeah. And a little goes a long way.
yeah.
I Dave came in and talked to one of my classes one time about it when it
Uh-huh.
was still pre-released, and it was the secret sauce. We were using secret sauce.
Mm, mhm,
So,
mhm.
Dave came walking by in the training center and I said, "Hey Dave, can you come talk about this secret sauce?" And he's like, "Okay." And his main comment that stuck with me right from then on is like, basically I can't think of the word now.
Mhm,
Use a larger amount in the beginning. It's
mhm,
too early to think of whatever. Prime your
mhm,
pad like you usually would.
mhm,
But then basically he said each subsequent section you do use like one less dot until it's time to
mhm.
clean your pad. So if you're cleaning your
Yeah.
pad every 3 to 4 sections, use
Mhm,
like do your 3 dots, then do your two, and then you probably only need one
mhm,
more. And that's
mhm.
how I've been using it lately. And it's just
Yeah.
it's super easy to do that way. So
Yep. I'm loving the
all
comments that are
right.
coming out. All right, John at Clean and Shiny. Good morning, Sydney, Tony, and everybody. Good morning. This is our distributor in the UK,
Yes.
Clean and Shiny. Love it.
This
Also
proves
an
my
amazing store. Also an amazing store. Mr. 441, Jamie and Keith sold the crap out of rehab on me. I'd love to get a copy of the pic we all took together. I will ask Keith who maybe took that. It might have been Cam or somebody from 3D. So I will ask them about that for
sure.
sure. I don't believe I got any group pictures, but
Well, and then maybe if we can locate it, maybe we can get those posted in the Beadmaker Lounge as an easy place for Mr. 411 to find it.
Yes. So, Mr. 441, please
441.
send 44. I know. Please send
I did it wrong.
PNS Instagram, which
Oh, there
would
you go. That's an
be
idea.
send a request to me on there and just say, hey, can you locate that photo of me with them? And then that way I have somewhere to respond to you. So just send me a quick, hey, it's me. Can you try to locate that photo? And then I'll work on that for sure.
There you go.
All right, Steve, can I use Defender every 6 months and Bead Maker as a drying aid at a vehicle that has IGL coatings, EcoCoat, Kenzo, graphene reinforced 10H ceramic coating? Well, absolutely you can. So that's basically what I do. I use Defender about every 6 months and I use Bead Maker almost every time I wash my vehicle as a drying aid. So absolutely.
Yep. Haven't found anything it doesn't play nice on any coatings that I've ever tried.
Yep. So absolutely.
This one's
Person in Puerto
interesting.
Rico. Yeah. Can you talk about Ego Maker compound as well as Playmaker? So Ego Maker is it's a compound that was developed, many years ago. I think that as far as so this is a great time to talk about. We are in development on new compounded polish for the double black line. So we won't go into this too much on this just because Ego Maker will, probably be phased out a little bit. It was a great compound. It was great when it was made, but technology and the industry has evolved. It's still a great compound. Like it does a lot of cutting.
But if there's something nasty, even in a training class, I'll grab Ego Maker and a wool pad and I'll cut it out, and it's not quite rocks in a bottle, but it's pebbles in a bottle.
Right.
But it hazes and it dusts a little bit more than most progressive things do nowadays. Modern stuff.
Yeah. So stay tuned first from Puerto Rico. We are working on new compounds and polishes for the double black line. Playmaker. So Playmaker is an all-in-one, meaning it cuts, polishes, and protects all in one product. The protection element of Playmaker is Bead Maker. So it's infused with Bead Maker. This is not my favorite product because I don't use all-in-ones. So, and it's just not something that fits in my business. So I think that if you're in a high production shop where you need that all-in-one, where you're, kind of cutting, filling, it does have fillers, you need filling, you need to get it out with protection, great option. That's just not a service that I provide in my shop. So, hence why it's not one of my more used products. But it is kind of cool that it's infused with Bead Maker versus a carnauba wax. So that's where it kind of sets apart from other all-in-ones on the market. But I can't talk too much about it just because I've not really, I've just used it a few times here and there.
Same.
But yeah, so compound and then Playmakers and all-in-one. So if you're a shop that needs all-in-one, you want to cut, fill, if
you have like an express paint enhancement service where it's more affordable, then that's definitely a good option for you. Especially if you've ever used something like an Uno Protect from Rupes or something like that.
Yep. All right, Jamie the cleaner is. This is so true. If anyone wants a good time, ask Keith about solvents.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you ever want to know what not to buy, I always think of Jamie on this. If you want to know what not to buy from PNS, just ask Dave. He'll tell you all the stuff.
Just ask Dave.
It's so funny.
He'll be like, we have a spot remover. Don't buy it.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. All right, X6M Ghost. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. All right, James, baby rehab. Yes, we all need baby rehab bottles. And you know what? Aren't we funny as detailers? You remember back in the day when we would just buy like the ketchup bottles? You know what I mean? From a detail
actually kind of want some of those. Did you see the guy's post that just said he had one? He just got rehab the other day and he had one of those dispenser bottles.
Tops. Yeah, they're really
nice. The self-cleaning ones that clean themselves out.
Yeah,
actually,
they're really
Clarity
nice.
Cream needs that too.
Yes, they're really nice. But you know what it is with us as detailers now is we want it officially labeled.
That's
Like
true.
I remember when I first started, everything was in a repack, all the Zep bottles from Home Depot. Like I didn't care. And now you
Yeah.
could not catch me using one of those to save my life.
Yeah.
So it's really like the label we need. Like we need little labels. But
Well, I'm just
I,
gonna go hold all the labels hostage till we get what
yeah,
we want.
yeah, I love those bottles though. We should actually have Bob look into those little self-cleaning bottles. I like those. So is it B. Riley or Briley?
I think, is it Brandon? I feel like it's Brandon
Oh,
Riley.
okay. So
I
B.
don't know.
Riley. I like Riley, but B. Riley. Send me a ball jar. I don't need a bottle, right?
There you go.
Yeah. Rehab all the
Not
way,
envy smaller.
not envy smaller. But I can see that. I guess the envy bottle doesn't bother me. It's just, it is funny that I've had the same bottle for 5 years.
It's true.
Um, I love this question, Kron. Any smaller bottles for Crystal Wash? No. The reason behind this is you probably on average use 4 ounces of Crystal Wash per car. So if we did a 16-ounce bottle, people would get maybe 3, 4 cars done. And
Yep.
that's not effective use of resources with a 16-ounce bottle. We do sell the 32-ounce pre-labeled bottles. We don't sell any pre-filled 32-ounce bottles. So you can get the 32-ounce labeled um, quart bottle from PNS, but Crystal Wash is such a highly used product. You go through so much of it. It is for a gallon, it's like $17, $18, I think.
Yeah, it's dirt
So
cheap.
the thing is, if we sold a 16-ounce bottle, because of the cost of the bottle, the packaging, it would probably be like $7, $8. And so when you compare that to a gallon, I mean, it's just not cost effective. Like
Right.
that would be not cost effective for the detailers. And we wouldn't want people to be going through a 16-ounce bottle every 4 cars. Like that's just not effective use of it. So I can guarantee they won't come in smaller bottles. Your best bet is to buy the gallon and the 32-ounce, and I promise you're going to love it. You're not going to not use it. So,
Yep.
yep. I probably go through a
Um,
gallon, and I mean, I'm a single person shop. I do about 4 to 5 cars a week, and I probably go through a gallon of Crystal Wash, maybe one a month, which I mean, I'm a very low production shop, and I still go through a gallon a month because I really love
sure.
it. But, so a regular shop probably goes through 5 gallons. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you use it a lot.
Well, this next question, I've been trying while you've been answering that to find a picture to show Mr. Dennis.
Ah, yes, Dennis. Wish they had Clean Maker in a quart or larger size. We do. It came out just a couple weeks ago.
It did.
So,
Oh,
yep.
I don't know why I didn't just go to our website.
But
I've been
like I
like on
said,
Jamie's Instagram looking for
oh,
a picture and there isn't one.
but like I said, we don't pre-fill quart bottles.
Right.
So the whole point of Clean Maker is you make it yourself. So you have a gallon of Bead Maker, and you can use a pint of Dream. Did I said that backwards? A gallon of Bead Maker, pint of Dream Maker. And we don't make the product like that. We have the ones that were sold, Jamie made while he was in um, Hayward. And then the whole point of it was this is Jamie's recipe. We want to honor that. And so we made the quart bottles so that you can make your own.
Yep.
So I believe probably within the next couple weeks, we may have like a package that, has all of those items in it. But for now, you can get the Clean Maker bottle, but we will probably not ever mass produce Clean Maker because I mean you can just make it yourself much more economically.
Right.
If we do have batches that come, it's because Jamie was in house and made it himself. So the only ones that will be sold pre-mixed will be made by Jamie the cleaner himself. So
Yep. There you go.
yeah.
What's funny is, yeah, that this one from this picture, I walked
Hmm.
into the little photo studio and Ian was
Hmm.
actively taking this picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, are those going up on the site? He's like, yep, this is the
Yep.
first like official one. And I
Yeah.
said, oh,
Very
I
cool.
need one of those. And then he just
Yeah.
handed it to me.
That's
So I
awesome.
have that picture in that bottle,
That's
or
so
that
awesome.
bottle in that picture
Yep.
rather.
Yep, that's so awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. So, yep. And then also, if you need to make a gallon of Dream Maker, this is so easy. Just put some Bead Maker in your bottle and, leave that much room in the top of your Bead Maker gallon and add a pint of Dream Maker, and then you've got your pre-mixed
Yep.
Clean Maker. So yeah, so easy to
I've
make
even
yourself.
done the Wild West, like absolute laziest version of it, and I
Mhm.
poured a full gallon of Bead Maker into a larger
Mhm.
container because there isn't enough
Uh-huh.
room for another pint, and then
Right.
a full pint of Dream Maker, which the math
Mhm.
comes out to like 8 to 1,
Yeah,
and it still works
which is
fine.
fine.
It works
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I had
Very
an
cool.
empty 5 liter bottle from another brand that I just
Uh-huh.
ripped the label off,
Oh
and
yeah.
I
Perfect.
made a ghetto bead maker dispenser out of it.
Perfect.
So,
Awesome. I love it. All right. 404 not found. Excellent live stream. Thanks for joining us.
yep. I'll see. This is good too. What do you use for a drying aid? Clean maker.
I use Bead Maker or the Clean Maker also. Either one works, but I use Bead Maker on my personal car. Like I said, I've always been a fan of Bead Maker when the car's wet.
Yep.
Um, I don't use Bead Maker too much when the car's dry. I'm using it either in the wash play seal or I use it as a drying aid. Works great. So yeah,
Yep.
you can also use Absolute at a little bit higher dilution, so like 128 to 1 as a drying aid. That works
Yep.
great as well.
Dream
Um,
Maker, which is behind us.
mhm,
I've even used
mhm.
that as a drying aid.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of usually whatever's closest to me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's whatever. Yeah, I just go with my heart.
Yeah.
How I'm
Go
feeling.
with your heart. What does
Okay,
your heart
Keith
tell
took
you?
it. Perfect. That makes it easy. So yes, I can get that from Keith. And yes, send me a message and I'll get it to you right away. All right, B.
Yeah.
Riley, Sydney, you said use Beadmaker every time as a drying aid for Absolute on coated cars. Just checking. I wash my car pretty much only with Absolute. So
Yep.
then while it's wet, I do I'm talking 1, 2 sprays of Beadmaker per panel and then dry it.
Yep.
Um, yep,
Just adds a little slickness,
easy. Yeah.
luxury experience, the
Yeah,
whole
and
thing.
honestly, sometimes I spray it on my towel first, which I know just makes everybody want to cry, but then I spray it with rags to riches before I throw it in the thing, and no more clogging. Steven says, looking forward to seeing you guys Friday. We cannot wait. We cannot wait.
Awesome. Well, we at least sold 1 bottle of Ulex for case yet, so I'll hit them up
Perfect.
for our dividends,
Perfect.
our
Perfect.
commission.
Yes, perfect.
Hang on, I'm screenshot this right here. Screenshot. Okay. All right. Yeah, your check will be in the mail. I'll get that to you.
Oh gosh, Gabriel. Which one has a finer abrasive, Envy or Platinum Finish? I have not used Platinum Finish, but I'm going to say Envy because Envy truly is a jeweling polish. And
Yeah,
so I think
I
Platinum
haven't
Finish is a true polish. So I'm going to
I
guess,
haven't used Platinum Finish either, but my guess would be
yeah,
Envy. Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to say Envy. Want a detail. Love it. Does PNS have a ceramic that can be sprayed on and rinsed off to help coat more intricate things like grills? If not, a product that can be used off label this way. So
Have you
PNS
tried this with Defender?
Yes, but here's where I'm going with this. So
Okay.
PNS doesn't really classify things as ceramic that can be sprayed.
Oh, sure.
So we have an SiO2 spray which has ceramic in it, which is Defender. And so I've used that for sure on grills and wheels, and I mean anything that you kind of want to add a little bit of protection to that makes it easier to clean and a true protection, you
Hmm.
can use Defender. But we don't classify Defender as a sprayable ceramic,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
absolutely, you could totally use. Um, I would use Defender for all the things like that: grills, wheels. I use it on wheels all the time.
I've done it and it totally works. Like
Yeah,
if you want to just be lazy and add some protection, I've cleaned the wheels really
yeah,
well, rinsed them,
yeah, yeah.
then sprayed a bunch of Defender, waited like
Yep.
20 seconds for it
Hmm.
to do
Hmm.
something, and then hosed it off. And there's an
Yeah.
immediate like
Yes.
water beating behavior. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely an off label use of that,
Hmm.
but it
Hmm.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. They're talking about ULEX. Our commission check just went up. We do have 32-ounce
Desperado.
crystal bottles, crystal
Yes,
wash
there
bottles, same
are
thing.
32-ounce Crystal Wash bottles. Thank goodness. Yep. Mr.
Yep.
441, Crystal Wash is so economical as it is. Trust me, buy a gallon for sure.
There you go.
I may need to start getting Crystal Wash in the 5 gallons because I love Crystal Wash. Good
That's what
morning,
I
y'all
actually
from
have. It's
Ketya.
nice.
Yeah, I bet. Crystal Wash on tap.
Yep.
So great. First from Puerto Rico. Thanks for answering on Ego Maker since I've used it for years. I always thought it may evolve soon and excited to see it evolving. Yes, it is in the works. I don't have a specific timeline just because, I think that as we go through the testing process, um, and I mean, the compounds polishes have not ever been like a big player for PNS. But I think it's definitely something where, Dave, I think, is enjoying making them more, I think, after rehab. So I know that this will be a process. And then, with Rennie involved and stuff, it will be a process where it will be much more, we won't put something out until it's just right. So as far as when that will be, I can't say, but we are actively working on it. And that part's
Yep.
not a secret.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bob spilled the beans on that and at
Yeah.
TRC, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Once
Are we
Bob says
going
it, we could
back?
all say it, right?
Yeah. Are we going back to the bays in Chicago?
All right. You know what? So they didn't have it this year. I believe they're planning it for last or next year, but this year they kind of wanted to evaluate how they did it. It was great. Still, like I loved it. It was such a great trip, but I think this year it's a pretty big undertaking for what they did and what they accomplished. That I think they needed another year to kind of just really fine tune all the feedback that they got and everything.
Mhm.
So, we would obviously go again, but this year they did not have it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So these last ones here. Well, this is a good one too. Obviously, no rub is
Oh yeah. Every day,
hashtag
all day.
the go.
Yeah. Yep. All day, every day. Love it.
All day, every day. But here's another mix people are talking about, and I haven't seen this one
Oh
talked about as
yeah.
in a while.
Yeah. So what's that? What is it, like Hawaii detail? I can't remember the gentleman's name that came up with this, but the honey pot. So it's something Hawaii detail. But anyway, so it's the honey pot,
Is
which I
this it?
believe
Is this
is
Absolute and Bead Maker?
yes. And I
Okay.
have not tried it yet. I hear about it all the time. I've never made it, but I've heard it's really great. I'm in support of it. But I have not tried it. The only thing that I would say though is I would mix it up in small batches. Over
Yeah, I was thinking the
time,
same thing.
yeah, because the polymers are meant to break down things, and so I think over time I wouldn't want it to sit. I mean, Dream Maker and Bead Maker, they can live together, right?
Hmm.
But when you have something that's meant for cleaning and then something that's meant for sealing, I'm not sure how long you'd want to leave that sitting together. So if you do make the honey pot, my only advice is maybe make it in small batches so that it's
Yeah, I'd
not
say
sitting
like start
for,
with a 16 and see how it
yeah,
goes,
yeah,
depending on
yeah.
how fast you use it,
But
obviously.
I've heard it's amazing. And yeah. I mean, Dave might say no because he doesn't like people mixing stuff, but
Yeah. That's why the only pre-mixed batches of Clean Maker are because
our main,
Jamie did it
Davey.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Dave
yep,
would not. He was like, no,
yep, yep.
I'm not gonna do it.
Todd Brown. We just got our first bottle of Rehab Saturday, so we can't wait to work with it. I can't wait for you to work with it either. It's so great. So great. All right, B. Riley at Super Auto. I use Honey Pot on door jams and all around the house. Okay, door jams.
Interesting.
Oh, okay.
And around the house.
Okay.
I might
Okay.
go. I'm
And
gonna look up. I wonder what
I'm
the
gonna,
dilution ratio is. I
yeah.
might go mix up a baby bottle and see.
Yeah. So it's from like a Hawaii detail and it's called
Okay.
the Honey Pot. So just search it on YouTube. It was a very, very awesome video. I watched it. I just
Yeah.
never made it, but I'm going to do that too. I'm going to try that on door jams.
There you
I'm
go.
going to try that on door jams.
Let's see. We got a last few comments here.
The first two shall remain nameless. We
Oh,
might all
yes.
know the IK foam cheat to tape the block hole for air injection to make it just a sprayer. I just use an O-ring rather than a tape and it works.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's talking about hacking a foam sprayer into a
Uh-huh.
multi-sprayer,
Oh, okay.
which I
Can
actually put a
you,
video out on years ago, and that totally
yeah.
works. But now they have the Multi Pro
Now they
12.
have the multi, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess I never thought about that as far as the big one.
Yeah,
See,
so
I
if you
have
had
the,
the foam Pro 12, the one that Jamie just
oh,
um,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
fixed for
yeah.
you
Right.
in that
Right.
video.
But you know why I've never thought that I needed one is because I have the old multi nine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what my absolute's in, is in one of the old multi nines,
yeah.
but I mean, it
But then you
works
gotta
great.
pump it up. I just want the straighter
Eh,
thing. I just want, psh, yeah,
meh. You know what though? But the ones that spray, I mean, they almost spray anyway without any pumping, so it's not as big of
right.
a deal. I mean, you just
That's
pump it
true.
like 10 times and you can spray the whole car. So the
Yeah,
multi in the big sprayer doesn't bother me to pump it up,
yeah,
honestly.
because
So,
it needs a lot less pressure to not create that foam, right?
right.
So,
Yeah. Yep.
would rehab work on headlights? Do you think? I would
Um,
be surprised if there was anything rehab wouldn't work on. Quite
I
honestly,
haven't tried it, but I saw a post this weekend. I don't remember
someone
where I
try
saw
it?
it. It might have been on the lounge, but somebody did. They said like 4 passes with rehab on a headlight, and it looked great in the picture. I don't think there was a before picture, but they obviously were impressed enough to post it. But I would
Yeah,
imagine so. I haven't had any super oxidized ones lately, but I would imagine it works. I would imagine it works great. I've heard lots of reports of rehab working great on glass.
yep.
Water spots, yes, yeah.
don't tell Sydney or Clarity Cream, but I've used it
Right.
on class and it works fine. No, I don't want to hurt Clarity Cream's feelings. All right, couple last minute ones here. It's already been an hour and 15 minutes, which is crazy.
Wow. Pianist Legend is 3 years old. Is it up for a refresh or reformulation soon? Possibly, yes.
Possibly.
So, fun fact about our coatings is we are always making sure that they, are up with what the market is. And so, yes, we are always looking into all of the coatings on that. So that's what I can say is we're always looking to make sure that they are, a good player in the coding space. So,
Right.
hopefully, Legend is still a great coding. And, it's funny how I play with so many different coatings, and it's like rehab. You have to lose some things to win others. And so we're always trying to find that sweet spot of where it checks all the boxes. And Legends almost there. And that's why we were so fortunate with rehab is we were able to check all the boxes. And so, we're always looking for ways to make sure that we have, one of the best products out there. So
Yeah.
I would watch for that. It's definitely, something that we're looking at.
Yeah. Well, and I will say too, maybe just, because, it seems like most of the team, meaning everyone except for me, is against version 2.0. So if we start talking about Legend a lot again in the near future, then that might be a good indication. Sydney's like, don't start with
No,
me.
but I do have a secret for you that I'll have to tell you offline. But
okay.
It's a really good
well, let's
idea.
end the show then. I can't handle not
But it
knowing
will not. There will not be. Usually, we just update them. We don't usually make a big deal about it.
Like we haven't made a big deal about Inspiration Classic being updated. What, 4
and
times
it's probably
now?
been it's probably been 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Quality Care Car Products Pro, Tony from Los Angeles. Have you tried Bead Maker with a foam cannon? Yes. So Kyle Clark used to do this. Wait, did he do the foam? Yeah. Kyle would put it in a foam cannon. Yeah, but he did it on RVs.
Yeah, on RVs.
Yeah, he called it the bead cannon. Yeah, yep. So we have done that.
Bead cannon.
I haven't personally because I don't like things that are that big, like RVs. So I haven't tried it, but I know a lot of people haven't. Yeah.
I'm just sorry. I'm just seeing Anthony Brown Jr.'s just deluge of comments in the Facebook feed.
Shoot.
And we're so sorry, Anthony, but we haven't been able to see Facebook Bead Maker Lounge Facebook comments on the feed today.
Right.
But just real quick to try and give him his due. He says he's had clients come in asking for a spray-on rinse-off sealant. Well, we just talked about using Defender in that way.
Defender for that. Yeah.
He's been making a killing with rehab and some money emojis.
Good.
He's fallen in love with it.
Yes.
Any word on when Odor Bomb will be back and what's a good alternative? So I asked Bob about Odor Bomb when I was there this last time, and it didn't sound great.
Yeah.
There's multiple issues.
Anthony,
there's multiple issues going on in the background there. Yeah. They are working on it, but I don't know that we have an ETA.
Yeah. Yep.
He said he saw you using BioBomb. Is that what we should start using since we can't get Odor Bomb right now? Do you want another residual check? Hang on.
Yeah. I'm giving it a shot. Yeah. So I've been
screenshot this.
Yeah, I know. Jeez Louise. I've been using the BioBombs, the little granola bars, whatever they call them for underneath the seats. I love those. So I do have on the way the BioBomb system. So I'll report that.
I ordered a system too with code Jamie10. Hashtag Jamie owes us royalties. I don't know why this is my joke of the day. It's just like everyone pays us.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to try it too because it's a very similar system to the Odor Bomb, right? I think it's chlorine dioxide also.
Yep.
But they have a neat little pump that helps. Aerate it. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So we're going to be giving that a shot. We'll see how it goes.
All right. I think that covers Anthony's stuff.
Jamie says he doesn't want to share by his little.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't have any money to pay you.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah. Let's do that one last, right after Jamie, the polisher. I love that one. Sydney, what's your go-to polisher for DA for your shop? So I just did a video on it. I know I just did a video on it last week. So I'm a big Rupes fan. So I use Rupes. I really like Flex too, but and I just want to give this disclaimer that I love Flex as well. However, I am too much of a wimp for the 3401. So that's not a knock against Flex, it's a knock against me. So I'm a big Rupes,
You've got buff like a
DA
girl on
person.
your shirt right
I know,
now.
but I do buff like a girl. I'm a wimp. No, so I use the Flex DA, but then I love I'm sorry, I use the Rupes DA. I use a Flex Pixie, big fan of the Flex Pixie. I also love the Rupes 3-inch polisher, but my
Mm,
new favorite is the Hybrid LHR 15.
there you go.
Love it so much. So I'm a big fan of the not having a cord. Big fan. So
HLR.
that's my new favorite one. I think it's totally worth the money. I love it. I get through an entire and this might be because of rehab. I get through the entire correction on one battery. It's just, oh man, can I tell you what the trifecta is? It's the Rupes battery with the orange free ride and rehab.
Oof.
I
Yep.
mean, like,
That's
send
the
it,
holy trinity of polishing.
send it. Yes. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Send it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Anthony Brown says thanks for getting his stuff in. Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
Anthony. Anytime.
sorry, Anthony. You might have
Yeah,
missed the
sorry.
part where we said we couldn't see your comments on here, and then we
Yeah,
got
he said he
distracted.
joined late. So,
Oh, perfect.
um,
Yeah, so we're gonna figure that out. But Tony's playing producer and co-host today, so we forgot to be checking the lounge.
yeah, I don't know if there's anything we can even fix on our side. I'm a
Probably
little bit
not.
worried about that with the
Yeah,
changes they made, but we'll see.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
play on
Darn
the
it.
off days and see if I can make stuff
Mhm.
work.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so
yep.
okay,
Perfect.
well, I mean, I think that's it. We've run the
Cool.
gamut here.
Nice.
Super Auto's going to try Playmaker on headlights.
Perfect. Try it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't have a ton of cut, so
yeah,
if
that's
they're
what the
pretty
only thing I
bad,
was thinking.
yeah. If they're pretty bad, I would still do the sanding process and all of that. I don't know that it's going to take off that much oxidation because the cut's not super strong in Playmaker.
Yeah,
But try it. Yeah.
if they just need a quick buzz, if it's real light, it'd probably work. If you're doing the paint anyway, especially,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
cool. All right,
Awesome. Well,
well,
thanks, Tony. Thanks for hanging out with me the whole hour
yeah,
and
of
a half
course.
here. Super fun.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on. It's fun to
No
be a
problem.
guest.
Yeah. So
Um,
fun. And I'll see you
and
Friday. Did we
yes,
talk about
everyone,
everything? Did we cover everything?
we
No, we didn't. We didn't cover everything. So we're
there's
obviously going this week.
yeah.
And then Keith and Josh Pierce will be somewhere. North Dakota, South Dakota.
One of
So
those
I know
places.
you're going to see another one of our athletes with Keith this week. It's going to be Josh Pierce. I think they're going to South Dakota. I
I
could
think
be
so.
wrong. It's
I think so.
one of the Dakotas. Anyway, watch Beadmaker Lounge for the information on that. And then the four of us are going to be in Hayward this Friday. And then we
Then I
have
have training,
and we have a training the following week in Boise,
double trainings
right?
back to back. Yep.
Yeah, we have a training, the first ceramic coating certification in Boise on the 11th.
Yep.
I believe that class almost sold out within 24 hours, so we're super excited about that. And then you have a big training in Hayward at the end of May. Then you have another one in June, early June.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
early June.
Early June is the next available one that still has
Yeah,
spots
so
open.
May,
So if
yep, May
anyone's
is sold
interested,
out. Yep, May
yep.
is sold out. June's a wonderful time to go to Hayward, by the way. So if you want to look into that, Tony is director of training. Awesome, Tony, the detail trainer, so
Oh,
great. So check that out. Those spots are available. So I think we just have June and July. We take August off. So if you want to get in, make sure to check the website. Those spots are filling up. And then
yeah.
we'll keep you posted on the schedule. But man, we've been all over the place here.
Looks like Super Auto's trying to find yet another name for me.
Four-door Mojave Tony. Very good. Yes, we've won Mojave Tony. I'm going to have to add that to the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too funny. Too funny. Very good. Well, thanks everyone. Stay tuned on the Beadmaker Lounge for all of our happenings, where we are, all that good stuff. The team is kind of spread out everywhere and just having fun, doing good things. So we're super excited about it. Yep.
So yeah, if there are any spots open, which I'm not sure, and you're close enough to Boise, come see us in Boise on Saturday the 11th.
Yep. Tony gets to come. It's going to be a good time. Good time.
All right.
The MVP. All right. Thanks, Tony.
All righty. Thanks.